Kia ora. Plenty of sunshine across New Zealand as we head through the rest of Thursday afternoon, especially across these eastern sides. Nice clear skies and some very warm temperatures thanks to that fern effect around places like Dunedin and Invercargill as well. More of that to come as we head into Friday as well. Overnight tonight, we'll keep hold of those clear skies across the eastern side of New Zealand. You can see there's more cloud in the west, some wet weather pushing through in towards Fiordland there, perhaps an odd shower making its way towards those western-facing coasts of Northland and Auckland. But for most of us, through the night time, it stays dry and pretty chilly once again, especially where you get those clear skies with temperatures back down towards freezing for places like Taupo, even 2 degrees Celsius across towards Napier and Hastings, and on the South Island as well, some of those colder temperatures through the central parts of Canterbury and out towards places like Christchurch, so 0s and 1s through there, and even those inland areas of places like Queenstown back down to 1. But you can see still relatively mild places such as Dunedin and Invercargill through the night time. 6 degrees Celsius, not a bad night for you, and generally staying dry as well. Looking ahead in towards Friday, not an awful lot of change for most of us. Plenty of dry, fine and sunny weather. A bit of a cloud around the western facing coast of both islands. And there is this rainfall feeding in towards the far south of Fiordland and perhaps those southern parts of Westland. There's a severe weather watch out for you for later in the day on Friday. But for most of us, it's a dry looking day. That cloud increasing in the south later on, but plenty of fine weather to start the day. For the North Island, there's more cloud around those western-facing coasts, perhaps thick enough to bring an odd shower in towards the parts of Northland and Auckland. But for much of the time, it's just patchy cloud, and even there, it should brighten up nicely through the daytime. Wellington might find a touch more cloud around first thing, but even here, it should brighten as we head through the daytime, as should, say, the Kapiti Coast and Palmerston North. And the best of the sunshine out towards those eastern areas. Plenty of fine weather for Wairarapa up towards Gisborne and across in towards the Bay of Plenty, staying dry through the daytime for you. And your daytime temperatures are reaching highs around about 16 degrees Celsius, perhaps even 17 in the best of that sunshine there. It will be a chilly start, and it will be another cold night as we head through in towards the early hours of the morning for Saturday. But I think it is going to be a fine looking story for most of us to end the week. Down on the South End, again, plenty of fine weather to start the day, especially for places like Nelson and Marlborough. A touch more cloud from time to time down in the far south, but even that should break up and clear off to give us some decent spells of sunshine. You can see there is more cloud on the western coast of the South Island. For Fiordland, we'll find some rainfall feeding up from the south, and that's fairly heavy later on in the day, and that rain pushing in towards those southern parts of Westland later on. But for places like Hokitika, perhaps an odd shower, but for most of the time I think we'll find it stays dry, just turning cloudier through the day and that risk of showers increasing. On the eastern side, the cloud thickening up across Southland and Otago by the end of the day, enough to bring an odd shower, but most of the day it stays dry, just that cloud increasing with some pretty decent spells of sunshine up through Marlborough. We'll keep hold of those northwesterly winds though, and that'll really help boost our temperatures around that eastern and southern side of New Zealand, with those temperatures climbing to highs of around about 17 degrees Celsius in Invercargill, perhaps one of the warmer July days we've got on record for you. So definitely a warm feeling day, and with that cloud not arriving until later on, hopefully some sunshine as well. Not nearly as cold overnight. These overnight temperatures are very, very mild for South here. 8s and 9s down through Southland and Otago, and even up in towards the likes of Christchurch. We'll find it stays dry as well, looking at about 15 degrees Celsius, your top temperature, with overnight temperatures down to 3. Looking ahead in towards the weekend, we will start to find some of that wet weather feeding in towards us. It arrives down towards Fiordland, and by the end of the day, you can see we have got that severe weather watch out for Fiordland running from 9 p.m. on Friday right the way through the daytime on Saturday to about midnight or so, with that rain potentially reaching warning amounts through there and then spreading northwards as we head through the weekend. You can find the latest information on that on the Met Service website. For Saturday, you can see that front is with us. It slowly moves northwards, brings that wet weather up the South Island. The heaviest falls up about the ranges of Westland. On the eastern side, a bit of patchy rain possible through Southland and Otago, not nearly the same amounts as we'll find out towards the east. And you can see by the end of the day, that wet weather is reaching towards those southern parts of Canterbury, up and towards those northern parts of Westland. But generally, I think we'll find it stays rather cloudy through there. For the North Island, most of the time, fine and dry beneath this high pressure. We'll find areas of cloud, particularly across that western side, but generally a dry looking Saturday. For Sunday, you can see that front is slowly making its a little bit further northwards, but with that big area of high pressure blocking the northward progression of that feature, most of the wet weather will be on that western side of the South Island, while the North Island, even through most of Sunday, stays dry, but again with that east-west split with more cloud across the western coast. As we head towards the end of the weekend and in towards the start of next week, we'll find this next area of low pressure getting closer, bringing some wet weather, combining that with some cold air from the south. We may well find next week starts off with a more wintry feel than we've been seeing it this week, so well worth keeping a close eye on the forecasts, and you can find all of that information at metservice.com.